All right. Hello, YouTube, Facebook. Hey, fam. We're here with some more fam today. You guys are already familiar with him. He's been on probably three times now, 3 or 4 times, and he'll
Three or
actually be
four at
coming
least.
back
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
in 2 more weeks. So,
Yeah.
but go ahead and introduce yourself, Coach Austin, for those who haven't seen you before.
Yeah. My name is Coach John Austin. I am CEO and founder of Austin Business Coaching. We have been in business, well, I've personally freshly been in business for about 15 years now. This will be year 15 in entrepreneurial world. And our focus primarily now initially was real estate development, green development, commercial development. We teetered off of that when the markets were really acting crazy and focused solely on business coaching. We found that the market had a lot of great entrepreneur ideas, a lot of awesome people, and they just needed direction. And we were doing well in that space, not realizing it. People were like, well, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? I need my LLC. Long story short, 8 years into solely coaching. So we focus on the ABCs, Austin Business Coaching, the ABCs of business. What do you need to take what you have in your head and on paper and construct it into a bank ready business plan, feasibility study, everything you need to do to get off the ground and running is what we do.
Awesome. Well, we're going to give a couple of minutes for people to join. Make sure our sound is up. I see some people are already coming in. Hello, happy Saturday. I hope you guys are doing well. I know it's been a tough week, but I hope you guys are staying safe and taking care. So we'll just give a couple of minutes for you guys to join, and then we're going to dig in on some mindset tips. I feel like mindset is your foundation. I really do. I feel like if you don't have mindset, everything is just going to, and most of the time it's a blind spot. Most of the time, the mindset things that are going on with you, you can't really just see right off bat. So as you guys are coming in, if you could just say hello, just like Cliche just said hello this morning. And thank you, honey. He just said hello this morning as well.
Nice to meet you.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, that's what allows us to be able to see you and, and know who's in the room is when you guys say hello. So if you're watching, go ahead and say hello. We're going to be probably about maybe 30 to 45 minutes today, but these are going to be some huge nuggets, guys. If you're starting a nonprofit, if your nonprofit is in motion and there's some areas where you're feeling a little stuck, if you haven't started and you just have an idea and you don't know how to get that going, whatever the case may be, you're going to need, it's going to start with mindset. And so these are going to be some tips that will be definitely beneficial. First thing first, nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, I talk to them pretty much every day, all week long. And I would definitely say that they are a different breed.
They are. They are. You really got to be. Some people might say you're crazy. I'm fine. But you got to be a little off to handle some of the stress and pressures that the business world brings on you. But it's fine because if you weren't strange, if you weren't different, I look at it this way: who is it that's saying that you're strange and different? They're in a different breed, so they're seeing you in a different light. So their mindset is a certain way. Yours is different. You got to blaze your own trail for sure.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you say different because the crazy thing about it is the exact things that people talk about and say you seem crazy, say you seem different are those exact same things that actually end up attracting your clients. That's your standout. You know what I mean? And so there's so many people out here in business, in the nonprofit world. When you really dig into it and get going with it, you'll realize the things that make you different are the most important things. So as you embrace those, that's a whole other mindset tip as well. So good morning, everyone. I see another one there. All right. We are all joining in here. We will dig in about 2 minutes and really get into it. I say we're going to do about 3 tips, but we might share a couple of bonus ones as well. And of course, as always, we'll make sure we share all of our information. If you need some coaching, Coach Austin is a business coach. I'm a nonprofit coach. So depending upon which sector you're in, he does a lot of things with products as well as services. I specifically specialize in services. So that's kind of how we're different depending upon what type of business you have. And the most important thing is that as opposed to determining what type of services are already out there or what type of products are already out there, the most important thing is to do what's authentic to you. Would you say that's another passion, doing something that's authentic? How important is that?
It, I think, is and there are going to be a lot of points we'll say this is the best, but one of the things that people ask themselves, or even ask me, well, what should I do? Should I sell t-shirts? Should I do this? Should I do that? I'm like, you need to do what you want to do that's beneficial and passionate to you. Because at 1 o'clock in the morning thing, getting up on a Saturday, doing this and doing that, I can do this at any time of day. You can do this any time of day. But if you're doing something you're not passionate about and that you don't feel compelled and like it's in your spirit to do, God's called you to do it, don't do it because you won't be as successful in it. I don't care how much money so-and-so is making. You've got to do what you're passionate about. So just if you start there first, okay, now we can start to talk about the business aspect of it and your grind and all that. Yeah.
That's the foundation. And let me tell you something that could possibly happen, a negative of doing what you're not passionate about and you're not really tied to. I was talking to this with several clients this week. It's amazing to me that my clients don't know each other, but a lot of times they're in the same phase. You know what I mean? I feel like it's almost like a connection to God because I kind of get to see what's going on. They don't know each other. They're not talking to each other, but they're all being led to do some of the similar things sometimes. And one of those things that I've seen heavy this week with nonprofits and businesses is pausing and reestablishing, making sure, taking kind of that sabbatical time and slowing down and making sure you're headed in the right direction. Because people are out here right now and they're looking for hope. They're looking for help. They're looking for results. That's one thing we talked about this week as well. Funders fund results. People pay for results. So if you have figured out a way to get some results, people are going to chase you down. The worst thing that can happen is you not be passionate about something or realize that you've started this train. You've got this energy going where people are now tied to and wanting you to do something that you've realized was not the passion, was not the focus, was not the mission. So it's so important to be clear about that because sometimes it will build and what they say, I've created a monster, so to speak. So now you've created something that you have to service that you're not even passionate about. So nobody wants that. Nobody needs that. So we're going to start with that passion. And I got a pencil and paper for you today. I finally got it. Found one of my old notebooks. We talked about that. It's an inside joke, guys. Go back and watch our last video. Talked about the power. He has it as well, pencil and paper. I'm normally all electronic, but I knew that there were some things I wanted to start doing with pencil and paper. So I finally got that going. Thanks, Coach Austin. You motivated me in that area. So let's get right in. What would you say would be that next point after passion and having a solid foundation in your passion or in your mission?
I'm gonna make sure I stick to the script. Right?
Awesome.
If you are going to run a nonprofit, for-profit, underlying you're going to run a business, you have to function as a business. Don't let the tax election or the LLC status or the S Corp status or whatever your legal protection status or tax filing status affect the way you run your business. The National Football League is a nonprofit organization. Multiple companies elect to be nonprofits or for-profits. It does not affect the way they run their business. So you have to learn out the gate. I have my degrees up there, not to tote or to pop a collar or make me seem like any different from anybody else. But somewhere you have to develop a understanding and have the education. If it's YouTube, or whatever you want to do, you got to figure out how to run your business, how your business needs to be run. You made a comment a second ago about some of the nonprofit people don't know each other. When I hear that as a business coach, when I hear that, I'm like, somebody didn't do their market research. There's a market feasibility study that is even more important than the business plan. I'll say that again. A market feasibility study has to be done before you get into any kind of market, any kind of business. You should know who your business colleagues are, your competition. In a business plan, it's called a SWOT analysis. You have to know your strengths, weaknesses, where the opportunities are coming from, and the threats are your competition. Laggers in your own system, laggers in your own team. So again, point number one is run it like a business. So I need to know who I'm up against. I may be up against a big boy, right, in the industry. I need to know who that is. How much market cap space is it? How much are they taking up? And when I enter into that space, do I become a threat to their client base? Am I going to steal clients from them? And when they see the little guy coming into the space, they may be like, I ain't worried about him too much. Or they're like, let's squeeze him out. We can't have him or her coming into this space. So what are we going to do? You've got to plan for that. What causes a business to fail? Blah, 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 blah. You're not running it like a business. So there's not one reason that causes a business to fail. But if you prepare properly, get yourself a mentor or a business coach who has been where you're about to go. Those degrees help me. Talking with Tracy helps me. Going on YouTube helps me. Instagram. Coach has coaches. I've got three really coaches who help to coach me. So it's all involved in running a business. That's a whole really, that's a session by itself, right? But to give you number one, if you're going to start a business, even a side hustle is a business. Figure out what you need to do, get that feasibility study taken care of so you got to understand what market you're going into. Like I have a client that's in Walmart stores right now. Great young man. I've touted him before. He's putting out his second invention that's being accepted into Walmart brick and mortar stores. Just recently, we need to start pivoting away from Walmart stores to Walmart.com.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to see the market. And if I wasn't around the right people to say, hey, Walmart is cool, it's a big feat. Okay, we've done that. What's the next step? COVID's here, Walmart.com, Amazon, things of that nature. You've got to start looking to pivot and look at this .com service more than anything else. If you go to my website right now, it's down. I'm revamping it so that I can take off this new e-commerce so I can sell my ebooks and things of that nature. So start running it like a business. And the only way you're going to know how to run it like a business, you have to be advised by someone who is in business already. Not someone on Instagram or Facebook that's talking stuff and putting up fake news. You got Tracy already. Tracy is a phenomenal resource. If you're not tapping into her, you are missing out. You just are. Again, she handles a certain thing. I handle a certain thing. But what are we doing right now? We're collaborating. So if you don't collaborate on purpose with someone in your industry and quit thinking that you're in competition with somebody, it's big, y'all. This is a big world with a lot of business moves.
Big wide world. Absolutely. That's an important point. And I want to pause there and make sure that everyone gets that down. It's to take it seriously. Treat it as a business. Practice your elevator speech. If someone says, tell me about your nonprofit, know what you're going to say. You know what I mean? And if it's not something that you can put time into, you can research, you can YouTube, and things like that, then maybe question, is this really something I'm passionate about? Because it should almost be fun researching it, because that's something that you like to do anyway. You know what I mean? I like same thing with you. I like listening to other coaches on YouTube. I like hearing people talk about nonprofit things and business things on YouTube. That's what I do on my downtime. So on my downtime, I'm down, but I'm also picking up some things that'll be beneficial to me as well, because I'm tied to something that I'm passionate about. So if you don't feel motivated to research, really research what's going on, research other organizations. That's so important. I want to hone in on that, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You may research. Sometimes it's out of fear that people don't research, because then they're like, oh, okay, well, wait a minute. That does look real similar to what I'm doing. Well, good. So you should ask yourself, well, how am I unique? Well, what am I providing differently? Well, those are the questions that you don't want to wait and you've put all this money and put all this time into something and let the market tell you after that. Go ahead and really look at it like, hey, you know what? Let me give you an example. I'll give you an example in my own personal, because I've started entrepreneurship at the age of 10. I've started several businesses and done several different things. So one of the things that a lot of you all know is I had a fitness studio for 3 years. And I taught Zumba there. It was a dance studio. We taught Zumba. We taught belly dance. We taught hip hop, all kinds of things. It was just all about dance. And I was an instructor there, and it was a real, real good time. I love dancing. I realized it wasn't very scalable, because a lot of people wanted to come to my classes only. So when it was time to scale, I realized, okay, I want to add more classes. Well, no, they just want to come to your class. Okay, so I'm going to teach 3 or 4 classes a day. Then I was tired. I was running another business at the same time. I say that all to say, I put that down for a minute so I can focus on the things that was creating more for me. But I always wanted to pick it back up. So not too long ago, I don't know if you were following at this time. I think it was right when everything happened with COVID, just to give people, a little bit of something to enjoy. It was so horrible during those first times. I started doing it again on video, and I was getting people coming in and everything, and we were having a good time. But I realized I was exhausted. I was loathing doing it. I love dancing, but honestly, when I do the research, I see a lot of great dance things out here that people have. So unless you're bringing something into the market that's going to be new and unique, does that mean that it has to be exactly like what someone else's is? No, but realize what your competition is and what people have options of before you decide. And you might determine, you know what, let me let them have that one. They're doing great. I'm going to watch their videos and do my dancing and still dance. That's one of my, we'll talk about this later. But I believe one good mindset tip is to have a list of things that keep you mentally stable throughout the day. That I call it my happy list. These are the 4 things that I get. If I get these things in, I'm going to be in a good mode. I'm going to be, no matter what happens, things happen out of your control. But if I get those in, I'll be good to go. And one of those is dancing, moving, enjoying singing because I love music. But that's not necessarily, so your passions aren't necessarily your business. And when you do the research, you might determine, you know what, that passion isn't a business. This passion though is, but that one, that might just be something I'm just doing for fun and as a hobby. So that's where that research comes into play. So many people get well deep into what they're doing, and I'll ask after lots of money has been spent, lots of time has been spent. Well, who's doing this in your area? And like you said, they'll say, well, I don't know, or no one. Okay, let's look this up. Let's look up what's similar. Even if it's not exactly alike, let's see what's similar. What's going on with them? How are things going in that, what are the holes, and make sure you're filling a gap. So I want to make sure you guys write that down before we move to the next one. That first tip there was your research. Treating it like a business, treating it with seriousness. If you don't take it serious, don't expect to build a team around your passion and your business to take it serious if you don't start with taking it serious yourself. So taking it serious means putting time into it. Looking up, doing dotting your I's and crossing your T's, doing that research. So that was the number 1 tip. And I want to make sure everyone gets that down. And we have a quick side question. And then I will we'll go into the second tip. So write that down, guys. If you don't have your pen and paper, grab just Trello. I always talk about Trello, or a tablet, something like that. I always have several devices because I don't like waiting. So I'll just grab another. All right, let's see. Couple of off questions. I'm sorry.
2 questions. They can email you though.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely email the questions. I'll get to them then as well, guys. And we always have a Q&A as well midweek in our group. But I do want to answer these really quick. How much is the full amount for nonprofit in Georgia? No problem. 5-second answer for you. For processing, legal only, no coaching is $4.95. They have a $99 filing fee, and they have a $275 filing fee, depending upon what your mission is. So that's the short answer, but I can send you a lot more details if you message me. Actually, what I'll throw in this comment section really quickly as well. But good question, no problem. I just threw all of our contacts in there as well. I did that really messy type. Let's see.
Good question, though.
Yeah, good enough for now, guys. And we'll definitely add them into the description as well. And I'll be talking to you some more Fallen Skies. I love to hear more about your mission. And let's see this other one as well. Same thing, Fallen Skies. So yes, we definitely need to talk later on. Send me an email and we'll talk about those things as well. So hopping right back into mindset. What's our number 2?
Mindset. Okay. Mindset and I know you had it as far as a nonprofit, right? But I'm still want to make sure that they focus on the underlying business of it, because if your mission is to affect a certain clientele, a certain type of person, you have to have your understanding of who your target market is. The only way you know who your target market is, obviously, the last point we had, have your passion. You want to help these people. You do your research to figure out who that is. Okay. Now we have to prepare. So the mindset preparation part of it. Okay, here we go. Sit back, buckle up, pen and paper. Hope you got enough ink in your pen, because this is where it is. It's not talked about enough. And I'll say this over and over again, it's the non-sexy stuff that's going to keep you making money. I said it. I'm putting it
one more time.
The non-sexy stuff is what keeps you going to the bank. I'm telling you, the flashy stuff is fine. And I'm only saying that because I've been in and around business for 15 years. I was around business when I was a kid. On my dad's side, real estate development. I learned how to set forms, pour concrete, rebar in that concrete as it's getting poured, all that kind of thing. So I've been around real estate for a long time. My mom's side of the family, my grandmother was like the real wing of the South. She could sew and design anything. My grandfather worked in the farms. So I've seen what mindset has to have. You can't go at business with a 9 to 5 corporate mindset, okay? Because they give you everything. You can't take that mindset and say, I'm gonna start a business. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. You have to be more free with your understanding, and you have to understand, how do I prepare? So whatever's in your head right now, you've got to start pulling out some of that negative stuff, i.e., if you're scrolling too much on IG, right? You got to look at how much time you're spending doing what. I don't know what that is, but when I talk to clients over and over again, I let them take a pen and paper and a calendar and start honestly logging on. This is part of preparation. Logging your day. What am I doing all day? What time do I get up? What time do I go to bed? Do I exercise? Do I not? Do I get caught up with this, caught up with that? If you start logging your day for at least 2 weeks, don't change a whole lot. Just start being more conscious of what you're doing every day. And then you look back at it. Hopefully you've got a mentor that can evaluate your list for you. But how much time am I spending doing whatever? And what you want to start integrating into that is 2 to 3 things. One thing is a motivational speaker of some type. Some type. You need to have something positive poured into your head. Remember, when as a 9 to 5er, you were poured into your head by what they told you. Your schedule, when you break, when you lunch, when you break, here, there, that. No one was motivating you to do anything. That paycheck motivated you, and being homeless motivates you.
Right.
Or the same thing motivates you, but there's no one telling you when to go, when to start. So let's just look at, how do we schedule our days? How do we impact ourselves? Motivational speaker is one of them. Doesn't always have to be a pastor. You should have some type of spiritual life involved, because that's what grows us all. Point blank in a discussion. But you do need to have some type of motivational speaker, at least 1 or 2, to give you that oomph to get started. Secondarily, take out something that's not productive, add in the motivational speaker piece. I like the hip hop preacher. I like Les Brown's. Okay, so find somebody that speaks to you. Find somebody that speaks to you and what motivates you. It might be Mel Robbins. It might be whomever. There's so many of them out there. Find someone that speaks to you. Secondarily, in your preparation, get a system in place that works for you, that balances the amount of research you have to do on certain days, the amount of time you're going online, the amount of time you're building your website, the amount of time you're working out, the amount of time you spend with family. Have kind of a balance in there, but put it on a calendar and make sure those things work for you. Prepare for what's going to happen later on, right? This is September. If you're starting a new business, don't try to get that new business out of here in October. I don't care what nobody tells you. Behind the scenes, the real work, you got to prepare for next quarter. Every business out there isn't going to ramp up right now, 30 days out. It's not going to happen. You've got to do too much work to get to that point.
It makes it so much easier. It makes it so much easier when you give yourself a good allocated amount of time. Now, I will say, I've seen some magical things before. I have one lovely nonprofit. She's 6 months already ready for full time, all these different things, just because she had that type of drive. So there are odd cases, but it makes it so much better if you don't try to shortcut it. It makes it so much more authentic. Number 2, if you are talking to a group of people, rather those people be, which almost all business is, rather those people be the clients that you're going to serve in your nonprofit, or if it be your donor, you need to take some time to court, just like you do in any other relationship. I don't want to meet with you and the first thing I say is, all right, so let's talk about the money. You know what I mean? We just met, you know? So you need to build that relationship. And even if you have a great product, even if you have a great service, if you don't have that relationship piece, it's going to throw people off. You know what I mean? It's going to make people won't pass the stink test, you know?
It will. I'll add to that. There was a few questions, and this is realistic. I've gotten probably a few to a dozen questions on different Facebook groups. What should I do for marketing? How much should I spend on marketing? Marketing. And I'm like, you're not preparing yourself for the market. Your brand and branding should happen way before marketing. So if I want a brand, right, my brand should speak before I walk in the room. My brand should be out there and people should see that logo. When you see the Coach Austin Business Coaching logo, I've been hashtagging the crap out of it. If you hashtag Austin, Coach Austin, all these things come up. So the brand is speaking before I even get out there.
And let me tell you why that's important. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's powerful. Let me tell you why that's important. Why that's important is because before, for an example, I've always done a little bit in marketing, but I would say we got a lot more powerful. We're continuing growing in the last probably 2 to 3 years. Now, before I was going on live and going on or just doing videos, and really just having conversations regularly with my clients. Before that, I would have these long conversations on the phone, and I would have to tell them a lot about me, and they would tell me, of course, about what's going on with them. But I would kind of be building that relationship during the calls. Now my calls are completely different. The relationship is already built. So now we are just talking about business during that call time because we built that relationship in places like this. So you've built that brand first. So that's one of the reasons why it's important. And I also want to piggyback really quickly on what you were saying about time logging. Let me put that one back up here before we pass by that one. The reason why logging your day is so important is because after you've done it for so long, you'll be able to change courses mid-action. So you'll be watching yourself taking too much time on something that's not a high priority. I've done it a couple of times this week. Like, you know what? Wait a minute. We're not even going to ask more questions about this section or what we're talking about right now, because we need to switch gears and put our time into more of a valuable, because this isn't that important right now. You know what I mean? And you're able to see that when you really understand how long things take, when you really understand how valuable your time is. You'll start to think like, okay, wait, I lost my blue, you have some on now, the blue glasses or whatever.
Yeah.
I was looking for 2 hours. And I was like, I've ordered 3 pairs. I was like, 2 hours of my time is not worth whatever those, I still don't know where they are. But you know what? You start to assess in a different way when you really see your time for what it is. And the first step is, like you said, logging it, because most people don't realize how much time they really have and how much time they have really available. I'm sorry, I cut you off there, but I want to make
everything that we're given is context, right? So if I'm looking at this as a business, and a lot of things we have to give the clients right ahead of time so they can understand why we're saying what we're saying. You hear things like automation. You hear things like systems. Your 9 to 5 already has systems in place. You are disposable because you're plug and play. If you get fired, they're going to plug somebody else in because somebody else developed a system. System is save yourself time, energy, and money. Okay. Save yourself, SYS, time, energy, money, systems. Systems are something that entrepreneurs growing into small business owners don't really either know about. Again, it's the non-sexy stuff, but is when you're doing it by yourself. You're the accountant, you're the legal, you're this, you're that. So when you start to scale and grow, which is what everybody wants to do, which is why I'm a big proponent on, it's good if your client, and some of them are, they'll take off board, they'll go. Caveat, watch yourself, because if your business plan didn't say I'm gonna make this much in a year, if my 3-year plan, my 5-year plan, my perspectives isn't at a certain number, and I'm running that thing through, every 6 months you should be looking at your numbers. If you're meeting them or not, your break-even point, again, business plan. So if I'm doing all these things, when I go to grow my systems, I can't do the same things I used to do. So who am I going to hire? I need to know who am I going to plug in to do this. I need a virtual assistant to do that. I need to hire a boy from legal to do this. I need to have, I need that right there to do this, so that now you can start to rudder the ship and you put people in place to do what you've already done. You may not be the expert, but you've already done it, and these are systems in place. So now you need to get the landing page. You need to get the website happening with the SEO. It's not everything I've said may be overwhelming to some people. I've already been there, right? So I can show you how you need to be there. But if you don't have those systems in place and in your mind out the gate as a preparation for how and where I need to be 2 years from now, a year from now, and how to scale, one of the areas of failure with businesses is that sometimes you can outrun your own success. You can be too successful. You can put your stuff online, Walmart, and I'm watching my guy with this because he's about to hit that point where he's going to go from hyperlink speed. Walmart said, okay, I done sold you 1 million of these. I need 5 million now. Is manufacturing ready for that 5 million to pop? Because they're going to give you a certain amount of time to make that 5 million go. If you're not ready, he ain't ready. Bye. And then you went from and you can't recap you can't recapture that space. Preparation.
Because
So
you haven't built that system. You haven't.
no, and then it's good to know who your competition is. I want to know who the big dog is, because in my mind, no one's gonna out business coach me. Again, I did say I have coaches, right? But no one can be you in the market. So when I come to the market with those degrees and 15 years of experience I have, the ups and the downs that I've had, the legal issues, stabbing in the back, I've seen what $1 million looks like in an account. So I know how to move now. Not because I didn't before, but right now, you can't out business coach me. So if you come in as a young entrepreneur, my year 15 should be your year 5.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
All this knowledge, and especially with you too, Tracy, yeah, you should be able to shrink that thing down
That's a
and go.
win-win, and that is a win-win. That's what you want to do. That should be part of your system. Part of my system is having experts in play and people who are doing as close to what they're passionate about as possible in play, making sure everybody's in their right lane. And so that team aspect, because systems is team, and it can also mean automations like Calendly. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
I just set that up, for scheduling and things. Why did I set that up? I heard about it a couple of times, but then I kept seeing other people who I'm connected to in my industry, in my field, utilizing it. And I'm like, you know what? I see how they're utilizing it. That wouldn't work for me, but what would work for me? And then you can customize and create a system around what works for you, and people can flow into your system and everything works better. Everybody gets everything. I'll give you guys a little example of a system because this is my favorite thing to do. I love building systems. Like this is my absolute favorite thing. And we're ABC, it's all in place. And I'll tell you guys, I'm exactly what Coach Austin was just saying. Our company was built, like they say, entrepreneur is like jumping out the parachute and building your parachute on your way down, which is not how you want to build. But unfortunately, since the age of 10, that's how I've been building. I did, and then I learned. And then I did, and then I learned. And that's just how my life flowed. And I used to kind of be like, a little, mad about it or a little bitter about it. Like, man, why have I always had to build everything from the bootstrap? Why have I always had to, why do I always not have enough resources? But now I realize all of those building from the bootstrap, all of those having to figure out the resources is all what I can give to the people that I coach today. And I realized that I did it that way so that I can help people who may have a lower budget and also be able to help people who have a little bit of a higher budget as well. But like you said, creating those systems is so important, and it creates a win-win for you and for the client or the person that you're serving. We went to, quick example, let's see how we're looking on time, 32 minutes, and then we'll jump right back in. But we went to a Cheesecake Factory the other day. We were just ordering something quick. They have the drive up, pull up, you grab it and you go. Well, I call myself being off, right? So I left all my phones, left all my devices at home, just had my emergency phone. Well, everything's set up with all of my systems and with all of my devices. And that's what I do is I build systems. So we ordered and realized all that was all tied to my business phone and tied to this. So now we're out the system. They were supposed to text us. I don't have my phone. Do you know that took 45 minutes for them to match? That was all security to make sure nobody was grabbing somebody else's cheesecake and trying to, because we weren't in the system no more. So those systems are so important in businesses. They have a system where they never talk to anybody. It's all through text, phone. And if you're in the system right, they give you the number you pull up to that card number and you're good to go. But if you're not in the system, things get chaotic. You have a woman yelling out the window, like, excuse me, and forget it. I try to get our cheesecake, so it's so important. That systems is so important. And before we go on to number 3, we talked about this before we went live, but I know a lot of people are wondering about it. Happy belated birthday. You have your balloons back there. You have your, what is that, Yoda?
Yeah, little baby Yoda.
This is birthday gifts, guys.
I'm a big kid, y'all. For real.
Celebrating.
Yeah, it's birthday time.
Awesome.
My little Star Wars alter ego. How you doing? But I'm just, again, big kid, man. Big kid. Still watch cartoons on Saturday. I don't care. Look, man.
Mindset. Bonus tip.
You gotta be crazy and a little fun sometimes. Look, it's Saturday. We COVID, right? It got the bedroom set up as an office. I would normally be in my office area, but we got some friends that's coming over. We get to set that up, so I got to kind of move in here, which is fine. I'm not tripping. And we should be able to just be okay with being who you are. Just be whatever, your talents and your skills and all of that. That's fine. Don't be so uptight and all this and all that. Yeah, I mean, I may dress a certain way certain days. Sometimes I got my, you know, Marvel t-shirts on, whatever. Just be you, have fun. I love my gym time. I got to get to the gym. If I don't, I'm cranky. I feel bad. I got to watch my LSU football, Saints football, whatever. But just be what you got to find out, though. And this is one good thing about entrepreneurs. You got to find what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Follow the system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Project where you need to go, but just find what works for you and do that. Just do that. And I mean, off topic, but just real talk, right? The system in entrepreneurship, and I hate these comments that I hear about you can't have a degree and be an entrepreneur. They laugh at people who got college debt and all this and all this and all that. Look, partner, if I wouldn't have had these 4 degrees, I wouldn't have taken my idea from my garage to walking into an international bank with a sponsor translating for me. Okay. So I don't know what college you're talking about, but Elon Musk even throws out there, well, you don't have to have a college degree to work for me. Did you just catch what he said? You don't have to have a degree to work for me. Nah, bro, I ain't working for you. I'm working with you. I'm not working for nobody. I'm sorry. No, I'm going to work for you. Now, if I got to get a job because of COVID to make some ends meet because whatever's going on, cool. That's a temporary thing. That's a robot. I'm in, I'm out. So we have to realize that just be you and be confident in what you bring to the marketplace.
And I'll
So that's
add
how
to
you
that as well, that's education. Now,
yeah.
I'm a believer, and actually the education system is changing. In the next 100 years, it'll look totally different than what it is today. The cool thing about education right now is it's at the tips of your fingers. So yes, you can dive deeper, take some courses. You can even do your schooling online, or you just look up things on YouTube. Whatever you can do, you work with where you're at. Because like you said, that's the cool thing, is you being able to have all that information. You dove into your education and you're able to utilize that in your journey. There are some people, for me, for an example, I actually graduated high school, at 16. Dove into got double promoted while I was in high school, dove into education high strong. I was a really moving at a young age. I was trying to get to the next place. It was always the next place. Let's go. All right, get done with high school. All right, next. Well, that was the same thing when I got to college. When I got to college, I was like, wait a minute, I'm ready to start. I'm ready to start my business. This is taking too long. And so for me, I actually started my business after 1.5, 2 years of college done, went on to start a daycare and didn't stop from there just because of the way. But in hindsight, do I not think if you have the opportunity to be able to add on some education, if you're not doing nothing right now, especially if you're quarantined and things like that, and you have an opportunity to educate yourself, I believe in constantly educating yourself. Whether you're graduated now or you're not, you should always be studying your field. You should everybody has an opportunity to do that. If you can't go to a 4-year and go off, that's fine as well. But there are so many different ways to educate. That's just one model and one way that is great as well. But there are multiple ways that you can get education. So don't let it stop you if that's something you haven't done or don't plan to do. Don't let that stop you. That's a form of education. And we have constant access to it, which is great.
I'm still getting educated now. I mean,
exactly.
50 years in the game, I'm still, again, humble yourself. And you have to ask people who are where you want to be, what do I need to know? What classes do I need to take? What should I learn? I'll tell people, take a finance, take an accounting. But there's so much out there, which I think can be overwhelming. Shucks, for me it is. You've got to understand, again, preparation. Where do I need to go and how do I need to get there? If somebody is advising you who has not been where you're about to go, please stop talking to them and talk to those who do know where you need to go. And they'll streamline everything you need to know. I'm telling you, people will spend an hour with me, and I'm telling you that 1 hour to 2 hours, and it's probably the same thing with you. I can save you years of time with a certain couple of hours.
Because of how you see things. And the reason you see things the way that you see the way you see them is because of all of that experience that you've had. Because of all of that now, like you said, takes 1 second. Let me know what you're doing. I can immediately tell you, number one, for most people, I can even tell them whether or not they're actually passionate about it. Like, you know what? This don't sound like something, because if you're not selling it to me that you're passionate about it, How are we going to do marketing? How are we going to do, so that's the first thing that I can immediately tell. And then the second thing is tell, where the low parts are, where the parts are that you're kind of having struggles in. But that's the
Yeah.
great thing about lining up with the right coaches. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Has to be. Yeah. I mean, that can be a whole day conversation by itself, honestly, but it'll take you where you need to be.
So that was a bonus tip, guys. I'm going to jot that in there real quick. The bonus tip was find out what works for you. And it was also have fun. Being a child at heart, like I said, it's funny that you talk about, your cartoons and the different things that you enjoy. And
Yeah.
I was just telling a story earlier on in here about just the fact that I love dancing. I'm typically music dance all day long. If I'm not on here, I'm listening to some music while I'm working. That's just what I enjoy. You know what I mean? And it just really gets me into a high place. Let's wrap up. I know we didn't get to the third, so we're going to have them back, guys. Don't worry. But let's wrap up with some little bonus tips. I know that one of the things I want to mention that goes along with that fun and that you talked about as well, but I don't think you shared all of yours. You shared maybe a couple of them. Well, finding out what works for you, finding out the things that actually give you that energy and give you that juice that you need to get through the day when things don't happen. Because one thing that's for sure is something may happen that wasn't planned. People, you got people around you. So stuff happens, sometimes people look at individuals depending upon maybe a following that they have or depending upon, and they start making assumptions like their life is just going perfect because they're doing this or they're doing that. But what I found as you get to really know people is everybody deals with the same things. There are things that they can look at that they're appreciative of, and everybody's working on some kind of challenges. Everyone's working on fixing a problem here, tweaking this, whether it be in their health, whether it be in their family. Everyone has some kind of challenges that are going on. So one thing that I found really helps is focusing on what you want to grow. So if you want the things that you're thankful for, if you want the areas of your life that you really value and you really enjoy to grow, those are the things you need to focus on. Focus on your strengths. These are my strengths. This is what's going well. Let me really focus on that. And then if you focus on your strengths, you can afford to hire someone to take care of the things like cooking that may not be your strength. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? I done burnt the last thing I'm gonna burn. I'm gonna just go ahead and get an expert and have them come in. Then you can get those experts in when you really focus on your strengths. So the 4 things for me that really get me going in the day. I talked about dancing and nature. I think I put them in the same category. The next thing is gratitude for my nonprofits out there. If you get a $10 donation, if you get somebody told me the other day, oh, I got this grant, I only got $2,000. That's great. They gave you that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's great. The more gratitude you have for the small amounts, like I said, if it's $10, that means awesome. Okay, this person was motivated to. How many for this project, which is this number goal? How many $10 donations do I need? Because I won. Somebody just gave me a $10 donation. So really, just having gratitude every connection. The fact that we get to sit here and talk right now, like I was saying on one of my other videos, this is the most intimate conversations we can have right now with everything going on in the world. Most of the time, most of us are going out and seeing people with masks on and aren't able to have these conversations anymore. So find the things that you have gratitude for, that you're thankful for, and make sure you give them some time and energy. Sometimes you have to create a space for that, because a lot of times something great will happen, but then then something else will happen, something else. You'll look up and realize, I forgot that even happened today. But you remember that person that sent you a message that you didn't like, or that person that, you know what I mean? We just naturally do that. So sometimes you have to force. For me, it's writing it down. I have a love journal. So every time something happened, it don't matter if it has to do with money, if it has to do with people, whatever, this happened today. You know what I mean? And it didn't have to happen. And so sometimes you have to create the space for that gratitude. So for me, it's gratitude, it's motivation that Coach Austin just talked about throughout the video. It's dancing and getting some kind of nature in. And for me, hands down, most important thing, spending time with God, spending time alone, spending time with myself, and having that self-care. If I can carve out all those things throughout the day, everything else, good to go. What would you say yours are?
Mine, protecting my peace. Right. I'm saying it because of the things I've been through. Yeah. I'm saying it because of the things I've been through, good, bad, or indifferent. As an entrepreneur, business owner, the one thing that can be taken from you that can hurt you is your creativity. It comes from your spirit, it comes from your heart, it comes from who you are, right? Your inner movement If your peace is disrupted throughout your day because you haven't prepared, because you don't take the time to sit back and strategically set up how things are going to go, your peace is disrupted. So if I don't go to the gym, like to play golf here and there, like to watch my TV, like to put the Sony headphones on my Beats earbuds, whatever, and just get into me, you can lose you in all of that. So protect your peace, and especially the Breonna Taylor situation, George Floyd, things of that nature. There's just a lot going on. So before I go pop somebody off in the head, or just don't talk to me today. I ain't got time for your mess, especially those that like to say too much. And be careful with the scrolling. That overstimulation is not good. We're not meant for all of that. So putting your phone away at a certain time at night, I do it, but I try to stay away. Put the headphones on, get some music going, and just balance that thing out. The more you can balance and protect your peace, it'll influx the increase of productivity. It is, it is, it is, it is. And if the more creative you are, the more spontaneous you are, the more you can be you in that business space. So if you don't protect your peace, forget everything we talked about for the last hour. If you don't have fun, be you. Shucks, how I found you was building my systems. I'm looking out for someone, found you, and look how things work.
Mhm.
If I'd have been all jacked up in the head, my energy wouldn't have been good for you, and vice versa. So if you do those things out the gate and lay a foundation, like in concrete pouring for a house, set the forms, put the rebar in, put the wiring how it needs to go, make sure everything's just right and tight. So when you start to pour that concrete in, you can level things off. And you know, once you pour that concrete in, it's a strong foundation. It's not going to crack on you when things get rough, because it will. That's another preparation point. You got to know stuff's going to happen. Don't come
Yeah,
out there thinking you that damn
say
sweet.
that again.
That
Say that
stuff
again.
is going to, you have, again, prepare for things to
Mhm.
happen. So, and here's a key. We got to get this off. I know you don't want to go too long. It's very important. If I plan my week out, I've got my hot points that I don't care what's really, really going on, unless the house is burning or somebody's sick and ill. You can call me, text me all you want. I'm not responding. So, as business owners, customer service is so important. As potential clients coming in, if you're a client on the phone and you're trying to call me, why else do you don't want to talk to me today? Because I'm busy. If I'm giving Tracy in the audience my undivided attention and you trying to text me, I don't care how much you pay me, Doc. That don't give you unadulterated access to me.
Mm.
Now, if my invoice is 10,000 and I took you in at 3,000, best believe don't be texting me saying that. Oh, it's kind of going slow today. Look, bro, sit down.
Mhm.
You trying to get somewhere on less, and we trying to help each other out. Let's stop. Again, perspective. Humble yourself. Research and understand the help that you're getting. I put a post on Instagram. I'm not doing that many free consultations anymore.
Mhm.
Now, if you want all of this, the invoices have to start coming through, because I need to put you to work too. Because people think this is easy.
And it's not.
It is not. It's
It
not
is
as
not.
easy as
It can
some
be
people
a
make
labor of
it be.
love. It can be a labor of love, and that's what you want it to be. You know what I
It
mean?
needs to
That's the
be that.
fun
Yeah.
part about it. But best
Yeah.
believe committing, showing up every week, even for the lives and things like that. I've been showing up live pretty much every Saturday
You
for
do.
a couple of years now. You know what I mean? And that's not easy. It's
It's
really not. You know, it's not. Sometimes you just want to have a Saturday and sleep in, or you know what I mean? So you do have to be prepared for that. And
not.
we as coaches need to make sure we have to realize, I have to realize sometimes that I'm also coaching my client. You know, there's been a time where I've got a message way out of business hours or something. I did happen to glance at it and I'm like, well, let me just get back to this. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. I don't want to set that tone. I want to make sure they know what tone to set with their clients. They know when their business hours are. Because like you said, it's important for me to get the best of Coach Austin when we're working together, for you all to get the best of Tracy when we're working together. So in order for you to get the best of us, we have to take care of ourselves and make sure we're balancing our work life, family, things like that. That's so, I think protecting your
Yeah,
peace, that's our note right there. That
it is.
underlines almost everything.
In my big red voice, my office hours are from not yeah. So we have to protect what we are, because people don't listen to you often, but they will follow what you do. So
Mhm.
we set an example of how we are and check things we need to be checked. But again, not to get on the negative part of it, but yeah, protect your peace. Do what you do what you think God has called you to do.
Absolutely.
Just do what He's felt He's called you to do. And no matter what, you don't mind working. I'd rather work 18, 20 hours a day for me and for my family and for the lineage that I'm leaving behind. than for somebody else.
Yeah.
So if that's what you've been called to do that. It'll work out. I'm not making as much money as so and so. I don't live 2 blocks from the lake like Coach Austin said. Yeah, but I've been in places you haven't either. So are you
Absolutely.
willing to put in that work to get what? But you can't be me. You can't be Tracy. You can be the best Miss Wiley that you can be. You can be the best whatever that you can be. And that far beyond, I want you to be the best you can be. Be the best you. Whoever that is, be that. Be that. And then that will give, again, if God puts you in that position, he didn't make Miss Joy Campbell to be Coach Austin. No, but you better bang out who you can be. And if you can do that, and if we can help you along the way to be that shining light, because there's too many people out here you can touch.
That's
I
it.
can touch them all. I'm as a business coach, if I wanted to help everybody out, I still couldn't do it. Tracy, same way.
Nope.
Still couldn't do it. Now you may not get the best coaching. I'm sorry. No, but out of us two, but even the two of us combined can't have everybody out.
Exactly. You're connected to certain people, and you have to also value those connections. We talked about connections a lot, and I believe that people aren't connected, nothing is by mistake. You know what I mean? Just the one person that's calling you, sometimes when we're first starting in business or when we're first starting in a nonprofit, you're looking at what you don't have. Oh, I guess I had somebody, we did a quick thing. I think she said she had a video and she just had about 200 people who watched it. It's like, imagine 200 people in a room watching you. You know what I'm saying? That is important. That's something to be gracious. That's something to have gratitude for. That's an important connection. So valuing each individual connection as opposed to looking for this place that you don't even know what it looks like. Sometimes with online, we can get a little, fearful, or we can get beat up on ourselves because we're comparing our day 1 to somebody's day 400 or 4,000, you know what I mean? And we're like, oh, but this one has this. Everyone had to start there. And one thing that someone said that'll always stick out to me is it's not about how do I get this many followers or that many followers. How do you take care of the people that are connected to you? What are you pouring into their life? Every time that I meet with you, I get some kind of nuggets out of the situation. I've adjusted some things, you know what I mean? Out of gratitude, I think you mentioned, this is the funny thing about people who are serious about their self-development and serious about why God put them here and who they're supposed to touch. Just in connecting with them, even outside of a coaching relationship or outside of a one-on-one relationship, you can pick up things that they never even wasn't even teaching you on, because and you're like, that wasn't teaching, but that was good. Let me make sure I do that. And I think one time in passing or in just a quick chat, you said something about, well, if it's not on my priority list, that goes on the list and it gets done when it gets done. Because sometimes I'm the person that I have this idea of everything getting done at some point, but it's not. You're going to constantly have, but that was huge for me. I was like, let me create a list of, this is stuff that I want to get done. It'll get done when it gets done. But then these are the priorities. And that's
why we have to walk in God's presence. We have to walk in God's purpose for our lives. And we miss that. Mm-hmm. We miss walking in our purpose, because I get that from clients all the time. And when you told me that, I'm like, I'm not getting the fact that it's so impactful on you. I didn't know that. So the perspective of it all, and I'd rather have 5 clients quit worrying about the followers, unless you're converting every follower into a cash paying subscription based, high invoice client. Why are you tripping on all that? That don't matter. I've been in rooms, I've spoken in rooms with thousands of people who've lined up to talk to me after things were done. Okay, are you ready for that? Do you really want to convert? And do you have even systems in place for that? Let's stop getting so caught up in the muck and in the false minutia of what's going on and the false hype. I've never had to sit in front of a lease car before or a lease house before. I'm not showing you my house right now because I don't want you pulling on me anyway. Right. But it's just the fact. Put the work in first. Worry about what you have to do. And again, and who are you impacting? I want to look at Tracy in her eyes and my clients in the eyes and say, Coach, you impacting me because my business is better for this. That's it. That's really all you want. And you want your bills paid. Okay, so let's focus on that part of it. If you got 1,000 followers, but ain't nobody paying you anything, then
it doesn't mean anything. Absolutely. And I've coached people with 50,000 followers, but couldn't figure out how to convert them. That's the worst thing in the world, to build up people that the type of audience that's watching, but not necessarily haven't found a way to convert. So, it's all about those one-on-one and the results. First, you find results in yourself when you're developing yourself, which is a constant constant thing, as we both know, as we talked about. And then once you've created those results in yourself, you realize, okay, now how do I create those results in one other person? And that will continue to, you won't have to worry about the followers. When someone gets results, they send people your way, and it becomes a win-win. They're getting the results. You're putting your time in, and they're maybe paying for your services, but then also you're creating change at the same point in time. People pay for results, funders fund results. If you focus on the results and not all of those extra things, the numbers, the followers, the this, the that, and you focus your energy on what matters, which is creating change, then everything else becomes simple. So we will leave with that, Coach Austin. We went a little over, but it was worth it. It was worth it, guys. Protect your peace. That's the note we will leave on. Protect your peace. There was something that was going around about on social media. I'm not going to say it exactly, but this is what I'll close with. They said, if I have to protect my peace, if I have to miss a meeting, if I have to miss a phone call, if I have to take a day off, if I have to, whatever it is that you have to do to first protect that peace and get in the right energy, that's going to help you to really fuel any task or anything like that. Is there anything you wanted to say that you didn't get to say? He'll be back on in 2 weeks, guys, just so you know.
No, I'll just put a pin in it for that, because we can go on for 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yes, we can.
I mean, just follow what you are looking to become. Follow what you're looking to become. We'll leave it this. Look at the testimonials that Tracy has on her page. Look at my testimonials. Pull up our names. Look at all the testimonials. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. And that's the results that you want. The results speak volumes. Let Tracy finish that. But look at people's results and contact those people. DM them. Hey, did Coach Austin help you out? Did Tracy really help you out? Okay, cool. Wow, that's amazing.
And that's it. Absolutely. I love it. All right, guys, we will see you all in the next video. Remember to always be looking to create win-wins. Remember to always try and be a part of the solution. You be that change. Don't look outside of yourself. I'm going to take that from my lovely Al Sharpton. Don't look at Coach Austin. Don't look at anybody. You look at yourself. You look at yourself in the mirror and really determine, how can I be a change today? How can I affect who's right around me? How can I affect every single connection that I make? And when you do that, that's when you create that massive change, guys. So we will see you next week. This week we will have our Q&A that we have 2 times a month in our Facebook group. So if you're not a part of that, all of our links will be below as well. If you want to reach out to Coach Austin, I'm sure he has a calendar where he does sessions and things like that as well. You said you're not doing them anymore for free. So guys, you better jump in there as quickly as possible. But he'll have all his details on his site that he's refreshing now. It should be coming back up. What do you say? Maybe about a week, or how long is your site?
For the next 4 days, it'll be up. So by the end of, I'd say Thursday next week, it'll be up. But definitely,
so don't be alarmed.
Oh no! Just hit me up on Facebook and Instagram. Please like and share this video. It helps with that whole algorithm as far as YouTube is concerned. But follow Tracy and I. All of our contact is in the post there. But definitely follow us, like the videos, and share it. Get it out there so we can get this message to everybody else that's going on for sure.
Yeah, so make sure we got all these comments. That was Miss Wiley. She said, I'm so grateful for this connection. Developing now. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Coach. Awesome. Yes, we really send some love here too. Thank you, guys. Thank you for spending this Saturday with us. We look forward to seeing you next Saturday too. Now off to our family time. And our self-care. All right, guys. See you in the next live.
Take care.